There is no plan B, and that's what I've always said. Maybe we did a small rebrand, yeah, but our talent is the same. You know, what we offered now is more. But we built off of that plan A. We didn't choose a plan B because there is no plan B. That's not an option.
Welcome back to another LT360 podcast. Today, my guest is a fellow Floridian, someone that has been, introduced to me over the last year and a half. And because of my recent transition in the fitness world, someone who does a lot of marketing, does a lot of production for companies in the local area. And he owns his own media company now, Next Trend Media. It used to be Hieroglyphics because his name is Jairo. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me through. I threw this idea to, record it professionally and make it look really cool because I've seen some of the podcasts you've been doing. So I just wanted to kind of throw in a little bit of my twist and magic to spruce this up. So thanks for having me.
No, of course. This is all new for me, right? So I'm like all kind of flustered, but it's cool to see how it kind of goes on behind the scenes. You know, we've done videos at the gym together, right? And I've seen a lot of what you've been able to do and produce, and I didn't realize that you had already been in the game for 10 years. So tell me a little bit about how you kind of came up, how this became your passion, and what drives you to keep going.
Yeah, man. So from 10 years... it takes us way back to the very spark of interest that I found in the video and photography world, which was back when I was in high school, G-Star School of the Arts, represent. But, even my first year, which was freshman year, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Come my sophomore year, I found a little bit of spark of interest in film and stuff. And then from there on out, it was just more practicing, going on YouTube after school, and then just the very basics that they show you at school to basically take on this whole career. Anyone who really wants to get into some type of this type of industry really has to know for sure that you're gonna get taught the basics, but you really have to put your mind and heart after you get home and start practicing, grab a camera, practice it, see what it looks like for yourself. Come 2015, because I graduated in 2013. Come 2015, I opened my own business, Hieroglyphics Productions, and that was actually just a joke from my sophomore year, where my teacher just threw it out, and it just kind of caught on. Okay. Now for SEO purposes, which is something that we really pay attention to, no one's gonna type hieroglyphics, and I kind of realized that for myself, and that's why it actually sparked the change to what we now call Next Trend Media. Along with my wife, when we actually got married, we put our heads together, and that's the name that we created together. Some of the services that we offer now together with Next Trend Media not only is from video and photography, but the marketing side, the back end. Where does that video go after you create it, If you properly know how to distribute it, you're probably gonna have a much better, more success using that piece of video or content that you use than by just throwing it out there and seeing what happens. You know what I mean? And that's what we started to implement as we created these videos for these different clients, because yes, we met through fitness, but we're able to cater to more than just fitness. We can do real estate, we can do med spas, we can do personal brands, which is kind of like what we're doing here. To develop your brand, you have these videos to put out and recycle and use for people to get to know you and your brand. You know what I mean? And we were blessed to be part of the fitness industry, to be able to provide video, photography, marketing for the fitness centers that we started to work with, like Gravity and Oxygen. And so what they do with these videos is, you create kind of like a sense of what it's like to be in these places, in your gym. You get to know the people before you even go to the facility. You know what I mean? Online, on social media, on your website, on YouTube, wherever you decide to put these videos, there's already something showing what they're going to walk into. You know what I mean?
It almost brings that experience to life.
Exactly.
Without you having to be there and experience it in physical being, you're experiencing something through the camera, right? Through the iPhone, through the YouTube channel, whatever it may be. And everything that I've watched, everything that you've done on that end of the spectrum, because I've been in a bunch of those videos now as well, has totally changed the game and kind of just changed and made me fine-tune things as well in my own back-end stuff, because for the most part I do everything on my own. So it's been interesting to see, and you sent me that video to give you to give me a little background on where you came from, what you did, how you started, and give insight into who you are. And that simple video really did speak volumes. It gave me that experience. It let me kind of understand, okay, we have dogs, we have, the whole going out in the park, right, and BMXing.
Yeah, that's my alter ego.
That in and of itself is something that I want to talk to you about.
So you had already a good idea of what you were walking into as far as what I was going to share, or at least a little bit about me. You already knew a little bit about me, besides already interacting with me during work at Gravity and Oxygen and stuff. By watching that video, you completely understood kind of like where we came from, even before even sitting down in this chair here.
Yeah, and that's what has been a differentiator, right? Probably for you from a business standpoint, is to be able to create that for said med spa or fitness facility or real estate company, right? Or personal brand, right?
There you go.
So how on that end have you been able to teach yourself? Because just like fitness, it's not about learning just the basics. It's literally, like you mentioned, about going out, learning, driving home those points, and making sure that they are going to be facilitated very efficiently and very well to the clients. Because if you don't provide value, you don't have a business.
100%. So to answer your question, I think that the reason why we've been able to be exposed and understand each industry is because we've never said no. Okay. Now,
Love that.
Exactly, 100%. There's people who believe in niches, and yes, there's a niche, and our niche is small business. Yeah, it's broad. We've been able to be exposed to different industries, like I mentioned, and we take on one, we take on the other, and then after every single project, we understand finally what that specific industry or target market wants to see. So, example on fitness. And, it's kind of PG-13, but, sex sells in fitness. If you're wanting to get that really toned body, wanting to, you're a female, wanting to get that toned body, or you're a male, you want to start, bulking up for the ladies or for summer and stuff. It's winter right now, but, that's, you use that towards your advantage for marketing during summer for people who want to get in shape. Cool. Now, how do you take the picture? How do you take the photo? What are you adding into the behind the scenes to be able to create that actual film? Is this a promotional piece? Are you marketing a specific service? Is it the type of environment that your gym or your facility holds? What are you trying to portray? So that's where we come in. We're able to either say, we recommend this is what you can do, or you can have that vision board for us, and our ultimate goal is to recreate your vision with your brand. Your brand colors, any cool models that you guys like using, things like that sort. Mm-hmm. And again, not only for fitness. Now let's go on to med spa. Mm-hmm. You want to walk into a place that's first clean, and they want to portray that on social media 100%. Now more than ever.
For sure.
Because you don't want to just walk into ABC Med Spa and it's it's gross. When you walk into XYZ Med Spa and they've marketed already before you walked in that they have protocols that they follow, that they generally, or after every single appointment, that they wipe down, things of that sort. And we've had clients, especially during the pandemic, who wanted to portray that in video. And fitness facilities would do a video just kind of showing from the walk-in to check-in to during the workout, which would be like, wiping your piece of equipment off right after using, and then you continue. Yeah. That's it. Put your mask on and we're out. So those are things that we try to educate the customer or our clients to succeed in the social media marketing world and to better their business and brand.
Yeah, it really is an art form.
It is.
You have to understand where the person that wants the service is, what they know, what their brain capacity is around the subject.
Right.
And then you have to know who they're selling to, what their target market is, what they want to see, what they want to experience in order to get them in the door. They have to experience something, whether it's a testimonial via mouth to mouth, right? Like I'm word of mouth, sorry. And you are hearing a story that portrays what that person experiences in that facility, then all of a sudden you get that emotion. You're like, okay, now I know what to experience when I walk in there. You watch a video, you see that it's clean. You see that they are focusing on those things at check-in and during workouts. Now you know that you're ultimately feeling clean already by walking in there, right? You already have that experience. You've felt it. Simply, I always think of like on a hormonal level, right? You are releasing something, whether, you think about playing the piano or you play the piano, you actually get it done. Whether you are thinking of doing a BMX trick or you're not doing a BMX trick, and you are out there, you're releasing the same hormones, you're thinking of it, and you're actually connecting those neurons in your brain, right?
There you go.
So,
was that like biology, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Chemistry, biology, physiology, it's all one, right?
Cool.
Science, whatever.
Well, regardless, content. I stress content creation to, obviously beginning with fitness. Whether you're a trainer, whether you're an actual gym, by just normally posting things that you would do during your personal trainer day or what goes on in your facility. That just it gives that person a reason to click onto your page, whether it's on your story, whether it's an actual post you put on your feed, or if you just shoot it over on Facebook. There people are seeing these things, they're questioning it, whether it's not today or tomorrow, but next week when they have a situation where like, man, I need to find a gym. Oh, I saw this one. They posted this really cool video. Let me double check that again.
It's a subconscious insert, right? And that's what I think we're seeing a lot with media in general. And I've been a big believer in the create, don't consume, right? So you have to create more than you consume. I saw a post earlier that I had made probably like a year and a half ago, and it was a quote that said either do something worth writing about or write something worth doing. And basically, I'm going to write down something that's worth doing in the future for myself, or I'm going to focus on doing something right now that someone else would say, ooh, that's worthy of writing about.
Heck yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's freaking genius.
Kind of like manifesting it in a way.
100%.
Man, I do believe in manifesting. It's I don't like throwing out numbers or anything like that, but let's say once we wrote down a number on a note, a piece of a sticky note. Where's my sticky notes? We wrote it down, and Andrea and I, my wife, we said, okay, this week we're gonna make this much money. Seriously. At the end of the week, it was probably Friday, 9 p.m. We were running our numbers, and we topped off maybe $100 over our quota that we wrote down on a piece of paper. It was maybe not unrealistic because sky is the limit for us.
For sure.
But we looked at the invoices and we were like, yeah, we made it. That was cool. Let's write another sticky note. How many more sticky notes can we write?
It's the classic Jim Carrey. He wrote the $10 million check for himself. You heard that story before?
Enlighten me.
Okay, so Jim Carrey, I believe he went on Oprah and he told this story about how 1995 he wrote himself a $10 million check. I believe it was after his father passed away. You can fact check that. And he basically said, this is my goal. I need to make this happen. I need to make it a reality. And almost 360 days to him writing himself that check, he got the lead role on Dumb and Dumber, and he signed a contract for more than $10 million.
Wow.
So within that 360-day period...
That was his break.
Yeah, that was that was his big break. It was 1996, I think, Dumb and Dumber came out.
That's
Once again,
incredible.
You can fact check that. I don't know. Great movie, though.
I've seen it. He's a great actor, but I didn't know that. But see, I do believe in manifesting, and it works. No matter what industry you're in, again, whether you're in fitness, whether you do video creation, if you manifest something, whether it's, stepping out of your comfort zone and starting to do that full time, kind of like what I did when I started working in sales. Yeah. I took a big leap after working for 4 years, having a solid income, and then completely switching over to a career that I know could, prosper. But I had to take that risk myself.
Mental leap of faith.
100%. Yeah, I was engaged at the time. I was risking a lot. You know what I mean? And when we took that leap of faith, it took off. I was fortunate to basically retire from a full-time job with my wife too, because she quit her job about a month and a half later to basically ride this horse with me.
That's awesome.
And here we go galloping away.
And the journey continues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've created a company from absolutely nothing. Right?
Basically, yeah.
You started with school, you got the skills, you built the foundation, but you could have went and worked for a number of media companies. You could have done so many other things, right? But you ended up taking the leap of faith,
right,
going into it yourself with your wife and making that sure plan that we're going to create our own financial success. We're going to create our own destiny, right? We're not going to rely on someone else. We're not going to have someone else write our schedule, this, that, and the next.
Nope.
Have you ever had anyone in your life growing up that was an entrepreneur, role model for you, or did you just take the horse by the reins?
Well, to be honest, I've always actually wanted to say this on camera, which is really cool. But because I've always thought to myself, who do I admire? And there's many people that I admire, but there's no one that I would want to copy the same exact strategies, because I want to create those my own. Like maybe it's an ego thing, maybe it's a selfish thing, but I want to take each and every step to success without someone saying, I taught you that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No one holding that,
no,
thing above
not.
you saying,
That's why,
have.
And I'm sure you've seen many of those Facebook ads with, free courses and things. I scroll past them, even though I'm really, eager or curious to find out what's behind that. I'd rather find it out myself to say, hey, I figured this out myself. This is my specific strategy. I mean, strategies we don't share because those are just internal or mental things that you already know that when you're piecing things together, well, that's the next step. Yeah. Or even, finding something that my wife and I thought together and things like that. Like, I don't want anyone to be able to say that I made you, I taught you, things like that. Now, again, when it comes to fitness, that's theory. You're dealing with another human body. Mm-hmm. You have to get that theory from wherever, from a book, something. But the way that you present yourself as a personal trainer, as your brand, I mean, that's you. No one can take that away from you.
Yeah, valid.
And same thing goes, even though we went from Hieroglyphics Productions to Next Trend Media, no one can take away the knowledge that we have, that we've built, that we've strived all this time to basically perfect. No one can take that away from us.
Which is, like you said, might be the best part about creating something on your own.
Yep.
Is that you have this innate uplifting feeling always when you're willing to go out, you're willing to stay up late, you're willing to do whatever it is that has to be done in order to create for yourself, for your family, and for a customer who is holding you accountable for a service or a product or whatever it may be.
That's right.
That's cool. I would have guessed that you might have had some kind of entrepreneur, a role model in your life at some point, like an aunt or an uncle or, dad or mom that, someone, I don't know, that may have had some sort of business of any sort. But, I mean, I never really did.
Right.
I've had maybe a few collect people that I've seen run their own business, but nothing from a major standpoint whatsoever.
You know who I actually
small
admire?
Landscaping stuff. Who's that?
Not actually my role model. It's actually my wife. Well, she's behind the camera, and I'm just doing this to have a good time later, but I'm just kidding. I do it because she's actually a very strong woman, and I admire that, she actually took that leap of faith with me, because I don't think anyone else would have done that for me. Mm-hmm. And, I appreciate that from her, because she's helped me form and helped me think the way I do today. Yeah. And in many aspects.
And I think that's the only contradiction that I was going to say to I want everything that I create to be something that I did myself, is as much as I love that idea, I don't think we can do anything in this life alone, right? Like, there's nothing that we can do 100%. No one taught us anything. It's the legendary, for me, I'm a big basketball guy, right? So it's the who's better, like Magic, or is it Bird, or is it Mike, or is it Kobe, or is it LeBron, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, without MJ, there's no Kobe. Without Kobe, there's no LeBron. And that's a continuing trend. Like, nobody's going to get anywhere without the footsteps that were laid precedent before them. So that's how I think of limitless theory, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not that I myself am limitless. Right. It's that by me being better, I give someone else the opportunity in the future to step off of my back and take that extra step.
There we go.
And then as a whole, if I get 1% better today, you get 1% better tomorrow, this, that, and the next, humans can actually evolve for the better, because if we're taking a step backwards, if I'm getting 1% worse today, then that gives someone else the right to do that tomorrow as well. And we're in this constant tug of war, right, on the gradient of moving for better, moving for worse. And right now, in this crazy, hectic pandemic world, I think there's a lot of, pushing and pulling on either end of the spectrum. So I always love to have people that are willing to push for more, push for better, in their personal life, in other individuals' lives, helping other small businesses, right?
100%. Support small business. Check this out.
Yep,
Support
absolutely.
Small business.
Shabam, read it.
Always.
And what's this Saturday, right? Coming up would be essentially
Come down, sweetheart.
small business supporter right here. And so this Saturday coming up is actually Small Business Saturday, right? We have Black Friday, then we have Small Business Saturday, and then you have Cyber Monday. Were you aware of that?
I guess I missed the small business. Black Friday, I'm all in. But, I'm going to celebrate that one this year, for real.
It's I think it's always worth giving back. And I mean, you do plenty already for small businesses in the
We
community.
definitely try.
But and it also comes as to bring that full circle. I wanted to talk about what you do. Getting started as a small business is often say yes all the time, right, to the other small businesses that are looking for help, and especially in the beginning when you were Hieroglyphics Media or Productions, right? You had to say yes to a lot of things to provide people value for free, correct?
Yeah, essentially, there was projects that I know what I would be able to get out of, but in my head, and this is all post being married, probably even pre-marriage, pre-opening my business, right? After graduating, I would take on jobs, very, very low pay or even free to build that portfolio, to have something to show. But there's a fine line that you reach where, you should start getting compensated what you truly deserve, And although we do help lots of small businesses, even though if they're startups, we have to put into place that, hey, there's a value to this. I'd be more than happy to help you because I want to see you grow and scale. But, there's definitely that fine line that you reach. And it makes everyone happy, and it's a good lasting relationship in the long run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think we need support, like I said, from all different aspects, whether it's, someone striving to do, better business on their end. Now that strives for me to produce a better show next time, right? So it's like that all comes full circle. And it's always a pleasure to learn from someone who's already been in the game, right? I think everyone that we come in contact with is an opportunity to either teach someone something or to learn something from that individual, right? Every person we come in contact with.
We definitely like to give back as much as we can. But hey, I have a question for you.
I'm in.
What's your favorite part about content creation?
Honestly, it's that I get to just create these altruistic thoughts and ideas altruistic ideas, put them out there from the thoughts that I have on a daily basis. So I'm a science nerd, dude. So all right, so when it comes down to the whole limitless theory, right? Once again, going back to who we are, we're humans, right? What do we physiologically experience? Hormones, electricity running through us, all of those different things. We experience about 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, right? Okay. So the amount of control that you have over those thoughts comes from a number of different things. And the ability to come into contact with those thoughts is something that only you do, right? Your wife and you are probably two peas in a pod, but she cannot experience those 60,000 thoughts.
Yeah, I know. 100%.
Only you have the key to get into your own thoughts, your own head. Those 60,000 thoughts are powerful, and content creation for me is my ability to express the ideas, the thoughts, the electrical impulses that run through my brain because of my experiences as opposed to someone else's. And that's why I am like the first one to just throw stuff out there. Like on content creation, I really, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not really about the perfection of it. I'm about the get it out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no rule to content creation or marketing. I mean, again, there's these strategies that people create, it catches on, and it works for them. And that's it.
And then it becomes a trend. Maybe the next trend.
Hey.
So that's what drives me, man, from a content creation standpoint. And it comes down to that being that subconscious thought in someone's head. McDonald's signs are everywhere, man, and that subconscious thought that drives into people's head is not good. So if I can put content out there, and if people are spending their time here, and it can be a positive subconscious thought, then in my book, I did my part in trying to evolve humans in the right direction that day. I like to think of it of a simplistic thought, but every drop has a ripple.
If I've ever asked that question, or if I ever ask that question again, I think that will still always be the top answer. So thanks for that answer. That was cool.
Of course, man. Of course. And I wanna dive into your alter ego.
Okay. My alter ego.
Yes.
Okay.
Because coming from someone who, well, what do we got here? Let's see it. The picture, the man, the myth, the legend. Whoa.
So this was and shout out to my.
That doesn't even look like you.
What's up?
It doesn't even look like you.
Well, I grew out the hair during COVID. I think a lot of people did a lot of different things, but my boy Richard Mason Hughes, which you can tag him here, he's an awesome photographer as well. He took these photos for me. This is at YMCA skate park in Palm Springs. This is my alter ego. I love riding bikes, and that's why video and photography helps me tie in fitness a lot and understand it too, because as an athlete myself, the 10 years that I spend kind of like growing my career and stuff like that, I also spent on a bike. And also my big spark of interest was, my mom bought me a $150 Mongoose bike at Walmart. I rode it to the ground a month and a half later, like, Mom, I need a new bike. But it was an actual BMX bike, and, so I kept going and going, and I'm a very persistent and, I guess, challenge-driven person. Okay. So, even falling and getting back up and trying again, that motivates me. It's just that adrenaline that I always get when I get on my bike, like, every time. It's very different for me. And it's just my escape from this sometimes, because this video that you see behind you, I spent today almost 6 hours. If it wouldn't have been for this video, I probably would have been writing. But no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
but
thank you.
feel special.
Yeah.
But that is, I try to spend 3-4 days out of the week, maybe an hour or two, to just kind of like pump some iron. I've never really done any fitness myself, maybe in high school a little bit, going across the streets.
Nothing structured.
But no, 100%. And I wanted to, and I still want to, because I know it's going to help my game behind the bars. But
I think of it this way. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I think of it as there's 3 different kind of elements. There's fitness, there is movement, and there is exercise.
Yeah.
Right. So basketball is a sport, right? It's not fitness. It's a combination of movement and exercise, depending on why you're doing it, right? If you're just playing a sport, then it's movement only. Right? And the byproduct is that you exercised your muscles and your brain and this, that, and the next. And now you are more fit, right? So the same way I think of getting on a BMX bike, something that you have to continuously fail at in order to perfect. What is that even called? I used to know the name of it, right?
Well, I'm still working on my tail whip, but I'd always say that bar spins would be the death of me. But this is a trick that we'll probably roll this in the next clip, where you're on the bike. You have to completely rotate the handlebars and catch it, and you're pinching. The only thing you're using is your feet to pinch the bike.
Yeah.
So things like that, I said, this would be the death of me. I spent almost 3 years learning the trick, and here kids at the skate park were like, "Oh, how'd you do that?" And that brings me to why I also kept riding, because there was kids that, let's put it this way. From a very young age, you know, I grew up an only child, so I probably lived under a rock until like I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
But riding my bike kept me out of trouble because I would go to skate parks that were enclosed and supervised and things like that. And I really encourage that to any parent that wants to, you know, their kid wants to start riding bikes and start, you know, getting a little bit crazy. Take them to a park, you know. Yeah. It'll do them good. It's exercise. They'll meet people because I've met so many people from riding, and we tour up and down Florida sometimes just to go and ride different parks, tournaments and stuff like that. Along the way, yes, you know, you might get, you know, your little bump in the road, but if you really love what you do, you'll make an excuse, and you won't make excuses. Sorry, you won't make any excuse. Yeah. This is something that could have put me out forever, but you know, I'm still here, so why not pick my bike up again? I was scared to come back on my bike. The photo that you see right now was when I fell during a competition, and it put me out for 6 months. And that was very recent into us taking that leap of faith. So after that fall, I looked at myself, and you know, 6 months later, I told myself that I would go back and try what I was trying, because this was in the middle of a tournament. Okay. I was 35 seconds in, and I took the fall, and that's it. Like 10 seconds later, someone came and slapped me to wake me up. It was pretty bad, and to this day, it's been almost 2 years since that accident. I have not been able to do what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But it's still there. Yeah. It's still burning somewhere in the back of my head where one day I will do it. I'll get over the fear and I'll try it again. Yeah. But as of right now, I still use my bike as an excuse to, you know, detach sometimes. Valid. Sweat off some toxins, and that's it. Continue.
That's how I use basketball, man. For me, the whole pandemic and not being able to play basketball, you get your bike, you can go. Right.
Well, believe it or not, they closed the parks for quite a while, so that was tough. But.
Okay, all right. So that's a little different then, and I had, you know, the ability to maybe shoot around a little bit on a hoop every once in a while, depending on what county I was in. Yeah. So the idea of being able to recently like actually go play basketball has been so beneficial for me.
Yeah, you get to see your friends again.
Yeah, because like, you know, and there's such a community of people that I have in my life that have impacted me simply because on a social level you connect through doing something that's fitness, exercise, or movement related, right?
There we go.
And it allows us, like you, it allows you to sit there for 6 hours and perfect that video because you know after this I'm gonna go get my, you know, release on the bike. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like I know that I can put myself through a crazy work week of helping people if I can go play basketball on the weekend and detach from everything.
Kind of like your reward to yourself.
100%, man. 100%. There's nothing more intoxicating than being lost in, you know, the present moment. And you have to be when you're playing a sport or when you're on, you know, a bike and you have, you know, physical things that can really go wrong. So
right.
It's a big thing, and it takes a long time. I like people to realize that you're not going to get anywhere in business, you're not going to get anywhere in your career, and you're not going to get anywhere in sport if you do not continue to push forward. The only way to really fail, in my opinion, is to quit.
Yep, that's it. So once you quit, that's it. I mean, you'll do it again. You'll do it again. The same thing as, let's use this example. Once a quitter, always a quitter. Let's just use this example for a small business. You know, let's say you take that leap of faith and you open that business, but it starts to get hard and then you quit. Well, what's the point of that? You know what I mean? You have to, there is no plan B. And that's what I've always said. Maybe we did a small rebrand, yeah, but our talent is the same. You know, what we offered now is more. But we built off of that plan A. We didn't choose a plan B because there is no plan B. That's not an option.
Yeah, I think what just popped in my head, right? I always have things running around. Is when you say there's no plan B, people are like, well, you know, I expected plan A to go down this road. Like they paved a road and they expected it to go that way. Sometimes you got to take the dirt road, right? You got to take that other path because what you had paved is not working. Nope. It was not right. The timing was not there. You got to an intersection. You have to take a turn, right? You got to split the fork and go down the dirt road. And as you go, you pave. People often set expectations way too high for, people that they're working with, people that they are around all the time, or even for the way they want to get to their destination, right? So where they think their journey is going to go, I have no idea. You probably 2 years ago would have never pictured yourself sitting here with me, right?
No.
We have no idea where it's going to go, and no one can, but some people are so stuck on like, well, plan A means that it's going to go this way, and plan B means that I failed. I don't think it's so black and white necessarily, right? It's like plan B isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's necessarily that the one that you had envisioned, or plan A, just isn't working right now. So you just go, it's whether you call it A or B, it's just not having expectations and letting that kind of flow happen, right?
It's
Fail
still your
and move
story,
forward.
though. It's still your story.
Exactly, 100%. So if I'm not mistaken, when you first started and took that launch and that leap of faith, you had a number of things that actually did go wrong, right? You had a couple of unforeseen circumstances that you ended up in. How did you persevere through that? Who did you kind of lean towards, or what did you kind of lean on in order to get you through those times?
Right. So when I said goodbye to my job, I told myself I was never going back. It wasn't for me. It's not my lifestyle. I really wanted to be in control of my schedule and, quite frankly, the amount of money that I wanted to make. You know what I mean? It's really sky's the limit. If I want to spend 12, 24 hours on that computer and continue just work, I can. And again, with my wife. But come December that year, we were going to have a baby together, and 5 months into pregnancy, after getting married, we lost that baby. And so it was not only hard on me, but super tough on my wife. Come January, that accident that I told you about, come February, we get robbed twice, over $30,000 in losses in equipment, actually not including what we had to reinvest in, right? We got robbed on a Friday night, on a Sunday morning, and then later on that week, after reinvesting, we got robbed a second time. Equipment that I didn't even get to open was taken from us. Later on that, skip a couple months, our car stopped working, so all these things accumulated. How do we cope with the first, second, and third? I don't think you ever want to feel the way I felt the second time getting robbed and after investing that type of money. Maybe it was careless, and I surely learned my lesson from not to leave things in my car. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just that inner thinking that people are just like you. There's good people out there still, but people are garbage. There's some really trashy people out there. And the way that we coped with it, to answer your question, we just said, we're going to figure this out. We know that, we knew that we weren't going to go back to the corporate world again to basically kick us up on our feet. That's it. We reinvested again. We found the money somehow, and we kept doing it. That's it.
No excuse, no feeling sorry for yourself, no sulking, and obviously it's not to say that we should be emotionless and we shouldn't experience ups and downs, and
trust me, those were probably the lowest times of not only our relationship together, not marital problems, just how we felt together because of the situation. But we coped with it. It happened to both of us, not just one person,
which helps in all honesty. Right?
Yeah. So, I think if it would have just been one person, I think they would have, hung the towel, but that's it. No, I'm fortunate to have not only the support from my wife, but the surrounding family that, helped us through the rough times. But you can help somebody, they have to help themselves.
Without a doubt. I love that.
That's it. You know what I mean? You can give all the support to somebody, but if they're not willing to go to bed that night and know that everything's going to be okay by themselves, it's not, you're not wasting their time on them, but it's on their time. They have to figure that out alone.
Action has to be taken, and I think that brings me back to the ideology that, we have these thoughts, and sometimes we are connected and we know that that's what we should do, and people just don't take action, right? They know that was their purpose, but they go to the grave with it. The best place for ideas, man, is the grave, and the graveyard, unfortunately, right? That's where you'll find the most of them, because a lot of them aren't brought out into existence. But I didn't know any of that. So that's, insightful. That speaks a lot to character, which is great. I think that, people on the other end of what I'm doing with my podcast, the value that I'm trying to bring is the fact that there's so many stories out there of people doing good things regardless of how many bad things have happened to them.
Yeah.
And with that sky is the limit quote that you keep pulling out, right? My idea is that humans can altruistically be limitless in the pursuit of just being better. So whether it is pushing through such hard things that you guys have experienced, or just overcoming unprecedented background and nature and nurture, right? Some people are just born less fortunate. So being able to bring that to light, I think will thank you for sharing that, because that'll help a lot of people. That'll help a lot of people for sure.
I tell the story, every now and then. I don't like to really talk about it much when it doesn't need to be, but I share it because if I'm able to do it, you can. It doesn't have to be the same chronological order, because I don't think it will ever happen to someone in that order. But if it does, or if something like that, and I'm sure there's much worse things that happen to people, there's ways to cope with it, but just try to, it's not your fault, life happens.
Could always be better, could always be worse is one of my go-tos. And this has been on my mind too. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hear No Evil, See No Evil. I mean,
I hear that quote and I love that quote all the time. I've never seen the movie, but I think I'm gonna have to watch it.
Dude, there's a really good movie. I would recommend it, and it's one of those. I think it was like late '80s, early '90s kind of comedies, but with a lot of like true moral, compass meaning behind it. So definitely worth it. It's been in my head recently, and it just kind of popped in again because, right, you don't have to pay attention to everything that's going on around you. You can, dig your foot in the ground, hold those roots, and continue to grow, suck up the nutrients that you want, and things like that. So
there you go.
Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No, man. I think I'm gonna be posting this on my channel as well, so I think they would love to know where they can find these other videos as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's usually how I top it off is share where they can follow you, how they can learn about your services, and everything that you and Next Trend Media have to offer.
Well, you can actually find a very similar video of what I shared today on my personal page, but you can follow me at Media with Jairo, and you can also follow our business page at Next Trend Media. Check out my wifey at Her Marketing Biz. You'll see some of our pups, some of her lifestyle, and some marketing tips as well as she throws out there. And then how about your pages?
So you can find most of what I do at dfoss_3 on Instagram, and then thelimitlesstheory.com. You can learn about everything that I'm offering, the platforms that I'm building, the services that I'm trying to bring to the world. The podcast can be found on YouTube under the Limitless Theory channel, and then also Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts under LT360 Podcast. So. Sweet. Limitless Theory, 360 degrees. That's how I like to think about it. Expanding as one. So
awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for having me, man.
Of course, man.
Well, actually, thanks for coming over. This is my office, the man cave.
So I appreciate you having me, and this has been an awesome experience. I won't be so frightened by the lights next time, probably.
Hope not. This was awesome, man. Thanks again.
Of course. Adios, y'all. Until next time, be limitless. What's up, LT Tribe? DFoss here, just to express my gratitude and say thank you for tuning in and continuously commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the episodes and the content that we are bringing you. It is helping so much. Once again, want to say thank you and hope you have a great rest of your day. DFoss here with another important sponsor. This one is awesome. It is a way to get high quality meat delivered straight to your door by Bristelli's Meat Market. It was established in 1976. They are now a global leader in the highest quality meat. And it is awesome. If you are an unfranchised owner like myself, you can earn anywhere from 22 to 27.5% IBV on your orders. And if you are a customer through shop.com/Limitless Theory, you can also earn cash back every time you buy your high quality meats for you and your family. Not only can you get filet mignon and burgers and chicken, but you can also get salmon and tuna and shrimp, and even a combination of regular meat and seafood. So make sure to check out Rastelli's, but most of all, check out shop.com/Limitless Theory to learn more. These times there's one thing that we can count on to keep us connected, and that is the one and only video conferencing platform, Zoom. Zoom is an amazing platform. It's the very platform that I use to record the visual portion of the LT360 podcast. I also used it today to share a business plan and stay connected with someone that wanted to learn more about products and services that we offer. And I also used it to train a virtual personal training client this morning. It is virtually simplistic, very simplistic. Anybody can use it, and we just scored an amazing deal as unfranchised owners. You can get the $160 valued membership through Zoom for just $9.99 per month. Instead of paying $160 per month for unlimited recording access and storage and tons of other features, you can pay $9.99 per month and save nearly $1,800 per month. You best believe it. I signed up, I created and transferred my account over to this pro account, and I will not be looking back, because that $9.99 per month that I'm paying also comes with a residual 15% IBV commissions. Each and every month that I pay out $9.99, I'm getting 15% commissions on that in the form of IBV, and I cannot think of an easier and better way to stay connected with my team and help my team get paid. So make sure you head over to your back office, go to my account, go to my services, and look up Zoom video conferencing. You will not be disappointed. Let's all use Zoom to help us stay connected and get financially fit together. What's up, Limitless Theory Tribe? Hope you enjoyed the episode. I wanted to take a second to shout out a childhood neighbor of mine, Victor Rosa. He just started a new podcast. Would love for you guys to go support. It's called Real Recognize Real. Just two dudes who love movies, all right? They are going to watch all the movies they can so they can give you quick and insightful reviews on them. These guys have education backing these reviews. They're not just throwing out random opinions. Once again, they are going to see the movies so that you don't have to. So go check them out. Real Recognize Real. Peace. DFOS here. I know y'all understand how much of a nutrition freak I am. And when I heard the world's most nutrient-dense food, you know I had to tune in, listen, and get learned. So I need y'all to check out the LT360 podcast I did with Catherine Arnston, the founder of Energy Bits, an algae-based nutrition company. It is not a supplement, it is a one-ingredient superfood, and it is recognized as the most nutrient-dense food on the planet by the World Health Organization and others. So go check out energybits.com and make sure to use the discount code Limitless Theory at checkout for 20% off. You will not be disappointed, because you will have the most nutrient-dense food in your pantry in the world. Go check it out now. Peace.